The arrival. The signal that changed everything. The observatory on Krell Station detected it first. A massive object moving through space at speeds that defied conventional physics. Director Zaldar watched the sensors with growing confusion as the reading scrolled past his 6 eyes. "This cannot be correct," he muttered, his crystalline fingers tapping commands into the console. "Run diagnostics again." His assistant, a young Krell named Shira, checked the systems 3 times before responding. "Sir, all equipment is functioning perfectly. The object is real. It's enormous." Zaldar pulled up the visual feed. What he saw made his heart skip. The object was roughly spherical, perhaps 8 kilometers in diameter, with a surface that shifted and changed as he watched. It wasn't smooth like a ship's hull. It looked almost organic, covered in structures that resembled towers, valleys, and strange geometric patterns. "What species builds ships like this?" Shira asked. "None that I know of." Zaldar opened a priority channel to the Galactic Coordination Council. "This is Observatory Krell 9. We have detected an unknown vessel of unprecedented size entering charted space. Classification, unknown. Technology, unknown. Intent, unknown." The response came within minutes. "Krell 9, this is Central Command. Track the object and determine its origin. Do not attempt contact until we can assemble a proper diplomatic team." But the object didn't wait for diplomats. It changed course, heading directly toward the nearest inhabited world, Vareth Prime, capital of the Vareth Republic and home to 12 billion souls. The Council convenes. The emergency session of the Galactic Coordination Council was chaotic. Representatives from 40 species filled the Great Chamber, their voices overlapping in dozens of languages as translators struggled to keep up. Chancellor Morvex, a towering being covered in silver scales, called for order. "Silence. We will address this crisis with reason, not panic." The holographic display showed the approaching object. It had slowed as it neared Vareth Prime, now hanging in orbit like a moon that had appeared overnight. "Has it responded to our hails?" Morvex asked. "No, Chancellor," replied Communications Director Thane. "We've transmitted greetings in 300 languages. We've used light signals, radio waves, quantum pulses. Nothing. What do our sensors tell us about its composition?" "That's the problem." Thane pulled up a detailed scan. "The outer surface appears to be metal, but not any alloy in our databases. There are also organic compounds, mineral deposits, and energy signatures we can't identify. It's as if someone built a ship out of everything." Ambassador Caliph of the Vareth Republic stood, his 4 arms spread in distress. "That object is in orbit above my homeworld. My people are terrified. Every hour it remains, panic spreads. We need answers." "We all want answers," Morvex replied. "But we will not act rashly." "Dr. Zanara, what is your assessment?" The scientist, a floating being of pure energy contained in a crystalline sphere, shimmered thoughtfully. "I have been studying the visual data. The surface structures, they remind me of something. Buildings. Roads. Agricultural terraces." The chamber fell silent. "Are you suggesting," Morvex said slowly, "that what we're seeing isn't a ship's exterior, but a city?" "More than a city," Zanara replied. "I believe we're looking at an entire world. Somehow, impossibly, someone has turned a planet into a spacecraft." The implications were staggering. To move a world required technology beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The energy requirements alone should be impossible. The gravitational stresses should tear such an object apart. "Who could do this?" someone asked. The answer came from an unexpected source. A junior analyst named Vesk, working at a data terminal in the corner, gasped audibly. "Sir, we've identified the origin point." "Well?" Morvex demanded. "Where did it come from?" "Sector 779. The Sol System." Vesk's voice trembled. "It came from Earth." The humans. Humanity had been part of the galactic community for only 30 years. They were considered an interesting but unremarkable species. Innovative, yes. Resourceful, certainly. But not particularly advanced compared to civilizations that had been exploring space for millennia. The Council had granted them a minor seat, allowed them access to basic trade routes, and generally ignored them. Earth was far from major shipping lanes, in a quiet corner of the galaxy. The humans seemed content with that arrangement. Until now. "We need to contact Earth immediately," Morvex ordered. "Find out what they know about this." The communication took 3 hours to establish. When the holographic image finally appeared, it showed a human woman in her 50s with gray hair and tired eyes. She wore a simple blue uniform with an emblem that read Earth Planetary Defense. "This is Director Sarah Mitchell," she said. "I understand you have questions about our colony ship." "Colony ship?" Morvex leaned forward. That thing in orbit above Varith Prime is yours?" "Yes. We call it New Terra. It's our first deep space colony vessel. We launched it 6 months ago." "You launched a planet?" "Well, technically we hollowed out one of our moons, reinforced it with manufactured materials, installed propulsion systems, and equipped it with everything needed to support long-term habitation. But yes, essentially we launched a small planet." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Morvex had to call for order 3 times before quiet returned. "Director Mitchell," he said carefully, "turning a celestial body into a spacecraft requires technology far beyond what we believed humanity possessed." "How is this possible?" Sarah smiled, though it didn't reach her eyes. "You asked us to solve our overpopulation problem without colonizing inhabited worlds. You told us we couldn't have more territory. You gave us strict limits on how many ships we could build. So we adapted. Instead of building 1,000 small colony ships, we built one very large one. But the energy requirements. Fusion reactors. 15,000 of them, all running simultaneously. The moon already had abundant water ice for fuel. We just had to refine it." "And the propulsion?" "Gravity manipulation fields. We reverse-engineered some principles from your own faster-than-light drives, then took them in a different direction. Instead of moving a small ship quickly, we move a large object slowly. It works." Ambassador Kella spoke up, his voice sharp. "Why is it orbiting my world? This is an act of aggression." "It's not aggression," Sarah replied calmly. "New Terra needs to refuel before continuing its journey. Varith Prime's outer system has several gas giants with hydrogen we can extract. We'll be gone in 3 days. We weren't expecting anyone to notice us, honestly. Your orbit is quite high, and we've been trying not to disturb anything." "Not disturb?" Kelletha's voice rose. "You parked a weaponized moon above my people's heads. New Terra isn't weaponized. A planet-sized object in orbit is a weapon by definition. If you wanted it to be, you could drop it on us and destroy our entire civilization." Sarah's expression hardened. "We could. But we won't. We're not conquerors, Ambassador. We're colonists. There's a difference." Morvex interrupted before the argument could escalate. "Director Mitchell, you must understand how this appears to us. Humanity has been part of the galactic community for 3 decades. In that time, you've shown remarkable innovation, but nothing that suggested you could achieve something like this. Some species will see New Terra as a threat. Then they misunderstand us," Sarah said. "We didn't build New Terra to threaten anyone. We built it because Earth is dying. Climate change, overpopulation, resource depletion, we're running out of time. This was our solution. Move millions of people to a new world where they can start fresh." "And where is this new world?" "We found an uninhabited system about 200 light-years from here. Earth-like planet, no intelligent life, perfect for terraforming. We'll establish a colony there, and New Terra will become a mobile city in permanent orbit. Future generations can use it to explore even farther." Dr. Zanara shimmered thoughtfully. I must admit, it's an elegant solution. Instead of spreading your population across many vulnerable ships, you keep them together in a mobile fortress that's nearly impossible to destroy. It's not a fortress, Sarah insisted. It's a home. There are farms on New Terra. Schools. Hospitals. Parks where children play. We're not soldiers. We're families. But Morvex heard the unspoken truth beneath her words. New Terra might not be designed as a weapon, but it certainly could function as one. And humanity had just announced to the galaxy that they could build more of these world ships anytime they wanted. Director Mitchell, Morvex said slowly, the Council will need time to discuss this development. In the meantime, please complete your refueling and move New Terra away from Varith Prime. The population is understandably nervous. Understood, Chancellor. We'll be gone within 48 hours. The transmission ended. Morvex looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives. Fear, awe, and calculation showed on alien faces. Thoughts? He asked. They terrify me, said Ambassador Caliph bluntly. Any species that can move worlds is too powerful to trust. Or too powerful to fight, added another representative. I think, Dr. Zanara said quietly, we have made a grave mistake. We treated humanity as a minor species. We gave them restrictions and limits, thinking they were too primitive to challenge them. Instead, they found ways around every restriction we imposed. They innovated. They adapted. What are you saying? Morvex asked. I'm saying we should have been paying closer attention. Because if humanity can turn a moon into a spaceship in 30 years, what will they be capable of in another 30? In a century? The question hung in the air, unanswered. And 8 kilometers above Varith Prime, New Terra continued its slow rotation, a monument to human ingenuity, desperation, and the stubborn refusal to accept the limits others tried to impose. The reckoning. The second world ship. 2 years after New Terra's departure, the sensors on Krell Station detected another massive object approaching from Earth's direction. Director Zeldar, who had never quite recovered from the shock of the first world ship, stared at the readings with a sense of déjà vu. Tell me it's not what I think it is, he said to Shira. His assistant checked the data 3 times before responding. Sir, it's bigger than New Terra. Approximately 12 kilometers in diameter. And there's something else. What? It's armed. We're detecting weapon systems. Thousands of them. Within hours, every government in the galaxy knew. Humanity had built a second world ship, and this one was definitely a warship. The Council convened an emergency session. This time, the mood was not curious but hostile. Ambassador Caliph led the charge. We warned them, he shouted. We told humanity that New Terra made us uncomfortable. We asked them to refrain from building more. They agreed. And now they've built something even larger, even more threatening. Chancellor Morvex tried to maintain order. Let us hear from the humans before we pass judgment. Director Sarah Mitchell appeared via hologram again. She looked older, more tired. Behind her, through a window, curved walls suggested she was aboard the New World ship. Chancellor Morvex, she said. I assume you want to know about Guardian. Guardian? That's what we call this vessel. It's our defensive platform. Defensive? Caliph laughed bitterly. You turned a moon into a battleship and you call it defensive? Sarah's expression didn't change. Yes. Because 3 months ago, pirates attacked New Terra. They thought a mobile colony would be an easy target, millions of civilians, minimal defenses. They were wrong. We fought them off, but barely. 15,000 people died in that attack. 15,000 colonists who were just trying to reach a new home. The chamber fell silent. After that, Sarah continued, Earth's government made a decision. Our colony ships need protection. Guardian serves that purpose. It escorts our civilian world ships, ensures they reach their destinations safely. How many more of these will you build? Morvex asked. As many as necessary. Earth is dying, Chancellor. Every year, conditions worsen. We have 10 billion people who need new homes. We're planning to build 20 colony ships over the next decade. Each one will need protection. 20 world ships, Morvex repeated. Plus escorts. You're building an armada. We're building survival, Sarah corrected. There's a difference. Is there? Dr. Zanara shimmered thoughtfully. Director Mitchell, you must understand how this appears. In less than 3 years, humanity has demonstrated the ability to move celestial bodies through space, create habitats for millions, and arm them with weapons powerful enough to defeat any threat. Some species will interpret this as preparation for conquest. Let them interpret it however they want, Sarah said, and for the first time, her voice carried an edge. We're not asking for permission anymore. We're not seeking approval. We're doing what we must to ensure our species survives. Even if that frightens the rest of the galaxy? The galaxy had 30 years to offer us real help. Better trade deals. Access to terraforming technology. Permission to colonize empty worlds. Instead, you gave us restrictions and lectures about patience. Well, we ran out of patience. Earth is dying, and we're saving our people the only way we can. Morvex leaned forward. Director Mitchell, I need you to understand something. The Council was established to prevent exactly this kind of arms race. If humanity continues building world ships, other species will feel compelled to match your capability. This could lead to a catastrophic conflict. Then perhaps, Sarah said quietly, the Council should have helped us when we asked, instead of forcing us to help ourselves. She ended the transmission before anyone could respond. The galactic response. In the days that followed, the Council debated furiously. Some species called for sanctions against humanity. Others proposed military action to prevent further worldship construction. A few suggested accommodation, perhaps Earth's desperate situation warranted special consideration. But it was Ambassador Kelef who proposed the most radical solution. We should give them what they want, he said during a private session with Chancellor Morvex and a few senior advisors. Explain, Morvex said. Humanity is building world ships because they're desperate. They have nowhere else to go. But what if we changed that? What if we offered them access to uninhabited systems throughout the galaxy? Real colony worlds, not mobile fortresses. The other species would never accept it, Dr. Zanara said. Territory is too valuable. Too contested. Is it? Kelef challenged. How many uninhabited worlds exist in our database? Thousands? Tens of thousands? We restrict access to them because we maintain the fiction that every species might need them someday. But the truth is, most species are stable. They're not experiencing population crises. They don't need new worlds. We're hoarding territory that could save Earth. You're suggesting we give humanity preferential treatment, Morvex said slowly. I'm suggesting we prevent a war. Because make no mistake, Chancellor, that's where this is heading. Humanity will keep building world ships. Other species will see those ships as threats. Eventually, someone will fire the first shot. And when world ships start fighting each other, the destruction will be unimaginable. The argument continued for weeks, but gradually, support for Kelef's proposal grew. The Council's military analysts had run simulations of combat involving world ships. The results were terrifying. A single armed world ship could devastate an entire star system. Multiple world ships fighting each other could render regions of space uninhabitable for centuries. Finally, 3 months after Guardian's appearance, the Council voted. The motion passed narrowly. Humanity would be granted access to 50 uninhabited systems suitable for colonization, with the understanding that no more world ships would be constructed. Director Sarah Mitchell received the news aboard Guardian. She listened to Chancellor Morvex explain the Council's offer, her expression unreadable. 50 systems, she said when he finished. That's generous. More generous than I expected. We hope this will address Earth's crisis while ensuring galactic stability. It will help. But Chancellor, I need you to understand something. Earth's government will accept your offer. We'll colonize those 50 systems using conventional methods, colony ships, terraforming, the patient work of building new civilizations. That's what most of our people want, a chance to live normal lives on stable worlds. But we won't stop building world ships. Guardian will not be the last. Because your offer, generous as it is temporary. 50 systems won't be enough forever. In a century, maybe less, humanity will fill those worlds and need more. We have to think long-term. Morvex felt his heart sink. Director Mitchell, the Council will not allow an unlimited expansion. The Council doesn't get to decide our future, Sarah interrupted. Not anymore. We've learned our lesson. We'll never again depend on others for our survival. World ships give us independence. As long as we can build them, we can go anywhere, survive anything. You can't take that from us. We could try, Morvex said quietly. The Council commands significant military resources. You could try, Sarah agreed. You might even succeed in destroying Guardian. But there are 3 more world ships under construction back home. And if you attack us, if you try to prevent humanity from surviving, then you'll discover something important about our species. What's that? We're very, very good at war. We've been practicing for 10,000 years. And when we're fighting for our survival, when it's our children's lives at stake, we don't lose. The transmission ended. Morvex sat in silence for a long time, considering his options. He could recommend military action. The Council could attempt to blockade Earth, prevent the world ships from launching. They might even succeed. Or they could accept the new reality: humanity was now a major power in the galaxy, whether anyone liked it or not. They had the technology to move worlds, the determination to use it, and the desperation to defend it at any cost. Dr. Zanara, he said finally. You warned us we weren't paying attention to humanity. You were right. What should we do now? The energy being shimmered thoughtfully. Adapt, Chancellor. Just as they adapted to our restrictions. We gave them limits, and they turned those limits into strengths. Perhaps it's time we learned from them instead of fighting them. You're suggesting we embrace this? I'm suggesting we survive it. Because one way or another, the age of world ships has begun. We can either work with humanity to ensure it's peaceful, or we can fight them and guarantee it's catastrophic. Morvex made his decision. Prepare a proposal. We'll offer technical support for humanity's colony efforts in exchange for agreements on world ship usage. Restricted zones. Safety protocols. A framework that gives them what they need while protecting everyone else. You think they'll accept? I think they're pragmatic. They don't want war any more than we do. They just want to survive. He looked at the star map showing Guardian's position. And after seeing what they've accomplished in just 30 years, I think we'd be fools to underestimate what they might achieve if we gave them actual support instead of obstacles. The negotiations took months, but eventually, humanity and the Council reached an agreement. Earth would receive ongoing access to uninhabited systems, technical assistance with terraforming, and trade concessions. In exchange, humanity would limit world ship construction, share some of their technological advances, and agree to Council oversight of their expansion. It wasn't perfect. Neither side got everything they wanted. But it was a start. 5 years later, Director Sarah Mitchell retired. She spent her final days aboard New Terra, now orbiting a blue-green world that was slowly becoming Earth-like. Millions of colonists were building cities, planting crops, raising children who would never know the pollution and desperation of dying Earth. Before she died, she recorded a final message for the Council. You thought we built world ships to threaten you. You were wrong. We built them because we had no other choice. Because when your home is dying, you don't ask permission to survive, you just survive. I hope future generations remember that. I hope they remember that humanity didn't become a major power through conquest or violence. We did it through sheer stubborn determination not to let our species end. And I hope, when other species face similar crises, the galaxy remembers the lesson we taught, that restrictions breed innovation, that desperation breeds strength, and that the truly dangerous species aren't the ones who build weapons, they're the ones with nothing left to lose. The message was archived in the Council's historical database, where it would be studied by generations of alien diplomats trying to understand the strange species that turned moons into spaceships and changed the galaxy forever. And above a dozen worlds, humanity's colony ships continued their slow rotations, each one a monument to the principle that survival isn't about following rules, it's about making your own.